And here we are then for the IMR Racing UK Mini GP Metric Kit Race 1 at Rowrah. Pole position we have Ash Barnes, lining up alongside him on row 1 is Jack Worth. Fred McMullen is in third place for this one, with Rossi Brown alongside him. The similar livery of Zach Shelton is in 5th place, and Charlotte, I believe Marcuso is her surname, in 6th. Lewis Lakey makes up the pack in 7th position. Only 7 riders in this one, but I assure you it will be a cracking start to a brilliant afternoon of racing here at Rowrah in Cumbria. The track is drying up, the sun is peaking, should we say, peaking out, and hopefully lap times will be tumbling, riders will be getting more and more confident, and we'll see some outlandish overtakes. 6 riders out so far. We may be missing Mr. Lakey from the back, or possibly Charlotte Marcuso. I'm trying to have a look now. I see both Rossi Brown and Zach Shelton. Ash Barnes is down there as well.
Yeah, Lewis wasn't able to set a time in qualifying, so I'm wondering if a slight problem on that front, as they will come around to form up the grid. What are we looking at in this one in terms of championships? Mini GP 140s. Zach Shelton currently leads this one on 263 points. Rossi Brown in 2nd place in the championship on 257. And Jack Worth is on 221, rounding out the top 3 in the standings. I remind everybody that Ash Barnes is, this is the class where he races, not for championship points, which is to do with how the bikes are classified, basically, but not to take anything away from the impressive rides that we've seen him put in this year. He has shown himself this year to be a very accomplished rider, but that's why you see the word open next to him on live timing, live.alphatime.co.uk, and click on British Mini Bikes to keep up with those. We're ready to go racing then. Eyes on the flag, and it's away. And Jack Worth, what a start from him. Fantastic job there from Jack, leads them through for the first time as the 6 riders work their way down to McRae's. Ash Barnes has slotted into 2nd place, and then he's followed by Rossi Brown. Zach Shelton has got himself up to 4th, and then it's Fred McMullen and Charlotte Marcuso who follows them through hairpin 2, heading towards the back of the circuit as McMullen looks to try and get this place back from Shelton. McMullen on the 05 bike, the yellow and red, following Zach Shelton through the Stewart S's now. And he's going to have a go, is he? No, he didn't have the run there as they head down the hill to the final part of the lap. You can see the dry line that's been forming throughout qualifying here. But it is Jack Worth who's going to lead them round to finish the first lap of racing of the day at Rowrah. But he's got Ash Barnes immediately back on his tail after not Barnes' best getaway from the line. But you can tell that he's got the bit between his teeth here. He's going for this one. Is he going to be able to line up and move into McRae's? Nothing on there. The challenge here, Jacob, is moving off of that dry line that's forming and dealing with the immediate loss of grip that you get by doing that.
Yep, always the way in dry racing, but Barnes slides up the inside of the 2nd hairpin and retakes that lead from Jack Worth. Great move.
Yeah, beautifully controlled move there from Barnes on Jack Worth as they go around the bottom of the lap. And Rossi Brown now, who's keeping on terms with these two, with the blue and fluorescent yellow livery. He'll now try and get onto terms with Jack Worth. Meanwhile, behind them, the battle goes on between Zach Shelton and Fred McMullen here. McMullen trying a slightly wider entry into the final corner here. But nothing on there, although don't speed too soon. He's got a bit of a run into turn 1, but again, the challenge of going off of that dry line just makes it really difficult. Lovely shot there, picking up quite how uphill it is through the chicane at the start of the lap towards McRae's.
Yeah, it was Zach Shelton, sorry, tried to say both his names at once then. Seems to be quite quick out of the corners, which is working for him through the hairpins, where we just saw Ash Barnes retake the lead.
Yeah, absolutely finding good traction off of the corners as they head towards the bottom corner of the circuit here.
Our sixth rider, Charlotte Macuso, is down on the exit of the first chicane.
Seems unharmed.
I say down, she is back up.
I was going to say she's
might even just be a bike issue.
Yeah, I'm not entirely. We didn't see her go down, so I am wondering if it could just be a bike issue. But yellow's out here as we're back with our leaders. This is Ash Barnes leading Jack Worth. Jack Worth riding well here.
They have slightly dropped Rossi Brown as well. Rossi's about a second behind in third place now, but Jack is still keeping Ash on his toes.
Yeah, and Jack Worth has just set the fastest lap of the race, actually, a 58.047. So he's setting good pace here. He's keeping Ash Barnes very honest at the head of this field. There is Charlotte Macuso. Clearly some issue with the bike there at the moment. She looks ready to get back into this race, but the bike not playing ball at the moment.
McMullen all over the back of Shelton through the hairpins, and he's got a good run down the back of the track. We're not quite picking them up on the stream. Shelton holds position so far.
Yeah, absolutely. McMullen is close in the battle. Off screen for fourth place as Ash Barnes leads them on to a new lap. But Barnes has responded to Jack Worth on that one, a 57.394, new fastest lap of the race. Although Worth improved as well. The track conditions are improving. The riders are getting...
is down on the exit of the chicane.
Oh, dearie me. Now, was that... Did you see that?
There was no contact, Howard.
No
he was getting very close to the back of Shelton and presumably fancied himself into McRae's. Unfortunately for him, he just got a bit too excited on throttle on the exit of that corner.
That's gutting for McMullen. We have seen him having some fantastic battles this season, but sadly pushing hard there and just got away from him. But never forget when you're watching these riders, they are. They're not the youngest riders that we have here today, but they are still young riders, and these are difficult conditions. Step off line, or if somebody has a little off-track excursion, it changes the grip conditions immediately. So it is a challenge for the riders, but this is somebody who's dealing with them very well at the moment. Ash Barnes on the 8 bike. Quick caution not to get confused, there are 2 number 8s in this race. There's Ash Barnes and there's Rossi Brown, he's also on the number 8 bike. I'm happy to say that Charlotte Macuso, she's got underway again. I can see her circulating now. So good news there for Macuso, and McMullen is also underway again. He's about to cross the line to complete a lap. So good stuff there.
Yep, McMullen's still on the lead lap. All 6 riders back up and on their bikes.
Yeah, fantastic. So we've not lost any of our riders. Ash Barnes has just set another fastest lap, 56.721. This is Jack Worth setting some impressive pace in second place as well, but he's now 3.2 seconds behind this young man on screen, Ash Barnes. Rossi Brown is a further 11 seconds down the road in third place. Zach Shelton, Rossi Brown isn't a further 11 seconds. He's a further 7.8 seconds. He's 11 seconds off of the lead. Zach Shelton is 8 seconds behind third place. So he's 19 seconds off the lead. And then, of course, McMullen and Macuso both had dramas, so they're away off of the lead. This is Jack Worth going through the final part of the lap, pushing hard here, but it's spread out now. It's starting, I mean, never say never, but it is starting to become a case of just bringing it home for these riders now, as we've got 5 laps to go.
Yeah, perhaps one to keep an eye on is Ash Barnes coming up on the back of Fred McMullen to put a lap on him after his incident. Might give Jack Worth avenue back into the race. We'll see how well he navigates his way past him. As you mentioned, moving off the dry line into the wet, 2 passes and 1, can be tricky. Let's hope nothing untoward happens to Ash Barnes as he looks to go through the pack. Well, I say through the pack. It's one rider.
I have to say though, the drive line widening here. The track is just generally drying out. You can see there quite clearly the wet patches on that shot as Ash Barnes works his way through to finish this lap, which will leave him with 4 laps to go. He's really setting impressive pace below the 57-second mark. Jack Worth still setting good pace as well, as Barnes puts a lap on McMullen.
Yeah, just dives upsided of the first hairpin, McRae's, and makes it stick.
Yep, absolutely.
Well handled. He's got a while until he gets around to Charlotte Marcuso, who's just going through the first chicane now.
Yeah, who I'm delighted to say, if there were any doubts about bike problems, she has just set a personal best of this race, a 1 minute 5.649, as has Rossi Brown on the number 8 bike that isn't the number 8 bike that you can see in shot right now. I know, there's 2 of them. Stick with us. Ash Barnes listed as the 08 on your timing screen, although the bike itself only has the number 8 on it. It's fairly easy to tell them apart though. Ash Barnes has this black and fluorescent orange detail sort of look, a bit of white on the bike as well, whereas Rossi Brown has the blue and fluorescent yellow helmet and bike combination. Not to be confused with very similar looking Zach Shelton bike, but Zach Shelton has more black on his helmet. There you go, there's your spotter's guide to the Mini GP 140 class in British mini bikes this year.
Are we missing a bike, Howard?
I confess I can't see Charlotte Makutso, and she's dropping down further laps, so yes, I think she's now retired to the pit lane for this one. That was commentator's curse, I'm counting that as, because I said the bike was fine and that she was back up to pace.
Yeah, you said she'd put in a personal best, just as I was starting to wonder if there was only 5 bikes on track, so that threw me a bit.
Maybe she put in a personal best just before.
Maybe that was it.
The
she put in
bike
a personal
out.
best and thought
That was it.
That'll do
done.
me.
I've done my.
Show what I can do.
Yeah, I'll see you in race 2. That's important to know, of course, that all these riders will have another opportunity to race in race 2. And I think someone who will be very happy about that is Fred McMullen, because he's got good pace, but he's just obviously having the off struggling. This is Jack Worth working his way through the middle part of the lap. We've just got a couple of laps left to go. So I believe that means that Ash Barnes is going to come around in a moment to start his last lap. But Jack Worth has ridden very well in this race. It has to be said, he had a lightning start, and he can be very happy with his efforts. We're on the last lap. Ash Barnes is just going around the chicane now, and this gives you a good illustration of the gap to second, because Jack Worth is just coming around to start the new lap now. And then it's Rossi Brown, if we're able to catch that. It really is. I mean, you have to look at the cameras here. When we're looking down on the circuit, we can't tell. This is Rossi Brown in 3rd place.
It is.
You've really got to keep an eye. We can't perceive how steep that first corner complex is. It really is quite an uphill, steep incline. You can see from the camera shot that we just saw there. Anyway, Ash Barnes is working his way through the final part of the lap. He's heading towards paddock now, and he's going to round the final corner. He's ridden brilliantly here. And Ash Barnes crosses the line. The checkered flag waves, and he crosses the line to take the win. First win of the day. It's going to be Jack Worth who's going to come round. There's Fred McMullen. He's going to hope for better things. But there on the 5 bike is Jack Worth, who takes the championship points in this class. He's ridden brilliantly as well. We wait for Rossi Brown, who rounds the last corner now. There he is. Finishes a bit of a lonely 3rd, but as I say, he'll count 2nd for championship points. So that's good stuff for him. It's then away back to Zach Shelton, who, of course, was battling with McMullen early on, And that's what that was the start of them dropping off the back of this field. But Zach Shelton finishes 4th. That's a decent haul of points. He'll count for 3rd in terms of championship points. And I think that might be it. What's happened to McMullen then? Oh, sorry, he crossed the line at the same time.
Lapped.
He was lapped, so he crossed the line. We did cover that. And Makutso had to retire to the pit lane. So Ash Barnes wins. Jack Worth finishes 2nd. Rossi Brown in 3rd. Zach Shelton in 4th. Fred McMullen finishes 5th. He may hope for better things later on today. And Charlotte Makutso classified as 6th. Welcome back to Rowrah for your coverage of round 8 of the 2018 British Mini Bikes Championship. We're heading into the second set of races of the day, and I'm delighted to say that now it is in glorious sunshine, in complete contrast to when we started our first stream earlier today on Facebook. We're going into the Mini GP, the Metric Mini GP 140 race 2. Ash Barnes will start this one from pole position. Jack Worth in 2nd. Fred McMullen will start 3rd on the grid. Rossi Brown 4th. Zach Shelton in 5th. Then it will be Charlotte Makutso, and we don't think we'll be joined by Lewis Lakey. So stand by on that one. It's a slightly sparser grid, slightly lower in number, but as we saw earlier on, don't for one moment think that that will take away from the action in any way, shape or form. These young riders have been putting on a fantastic show for us all season, and they have no intention of stopping now. Flags in the air, eyes are on him. It's another great start from Jack Worth, who goes to the head of the field here. And look at Rossi Brown and Zach Shelton on the back of Ashley Barnes here as they head up the hill towards the first hairpin. Ash Barnes looks to the inside on Jack Worth and also defends effectively from Brown and Shelton. Fred McMullen is after those who I just mentioned, and then it is Charlotte Makutso. Glad to say she's able to have taken the start after the issues we saw in race 1. Jack Worth leads them round the bottom of the circuit then. Ash Barnes right on his tail. Slight touch of deja vu here. And Ash Barnes goes for it. Whoa, that's a bold move at the bottom of the hill. And he's made it stick. Beautiful stuff from Ash Barnes. In the open subclass, as it were, within our mini GPs. And then Jack Worth
under pressure there from Rossi Brown.
Absolutely, at the end of lap 1, Rossi Brown pressuring Jack Worth up the hill.
Shelton and McMullen have resumed their battle from earlier. They're in 4th and 5th place.
Absolutely. Now McMullen will want a good result here. He was battling with Shelton but a few hours ago, but it all went a bit pear-shaped. So can he salvage a decent result here? He has been riding well. Here they are, battle over 4th place. Round the bottom of the lap, further up the road, the battle over 2nd overall, and indeed 1st in terms of the championship points to be awarded in this class. Don't forget Ash Barnes racing in an open class within this category. Here is Rossi Brown challenging Jack Worth. This is a great battle, isn't it? There's a battle going on for 2nd and a battle going on for 4th here, as Rossi Brown challenges Jack Worth up the hill, heading towards McRae's.
Shelton and McMullen are sticking with them this time around. There's a bit of a gap between them in our first race, but it looks like it could be a 4-bike battle.
Yeah, absolutely. If Rossi Brown starts battling Jack Worth here, as you say, a 4-bike battle is on the cards here. Rossi Brown having a look to the inside, down the straight there. Nothing on there, though.
Yeah, Barnes got a strong lead out front, but yeah, Brown's challenging Worth.
Yeah, Barnes' pace some 2 seconds to the good here. As we say, running a bike under slightly different technical specifications. Here's McMullen challenging Zach Shelton. So 2 fantastic battles going. Rossi Brown does look strong starting the lap. And then McMullen is just as close to Shelton. As we say, if the front battle starts developing into something that slows both riders down, we could end up with a 4-bike scrap for second place on the road, and of course first place in terms of the points in this class as we get towards the sharp end of the season. McMullen on the red and yellow bike. Again, thinking about it, goes a little deep into the bottom corner, has to follow through the Stuart S's.
As Brown takes second place, Howard, we've missed that, but coming down the hill, Rossi Brown is in second ahead of Jack Worth, and will round this lap in second position.
Lovely stuff then from Rossi Brown. We said he was looking strong, and he's taken the position from Jack Worth, but I can't say Worth looks like he's going to let Brown get away with it easily, Jacob.
Absolutely not, as Shelton is just as unlikely to drop off the back of them. He's still up there, about 2 seconds behind.
Yeah, really good riding throughout the field here.
Although, as I say that, McMullen goes to the outside of him, very close there to Shelton. Had a very good look at taking 4th place off him. We're following Rossi Brown and Jack Worth in front. In behind, McMullen's still behind Shelton, but very close now.
It's such an awkward thing. Ash Barnes is doing a fantastic job. If he wants more screen time, though, think about backing off a bit.
Yeah.
Just
well, we had this earlier, didn't we,
so
with
far out.
James Mostica, I
Yeah.
believe.
So far out in front in many
Recurring
ways.
theme today.
It is a recurring theme. It might be something about the nature of how these starts are going at this track. Yeah, Ash Barnes out in front and looking strong here. We will pick him up, of course, at various points throughout the race, but such is dominance that nobody is challenging at the moment. Here, though, is a challenge from McMullen on Zach Shelton. Just had a little think about it there into Idale's hairpin. And you can see Shelton looking back there. You can't blame him. McMullen, again, just a little to the inside of the bottom corner. Just seeing if there's a half an opportunity developing.
I think we've seen this before today, Howard, where one rider is perhaps better at the first half of the lap, and the other rider in front seems to pull away a bit before a bit of a challenge around about the hairpins.
I'd agree with that completely. It's a technical lap here. It's about hooking up the corners well, but slightly different feels to the 2 halves of the lap almost. You've got these 2 tight hairpins in the early part of the lap that they're just working their way through now. And then you've got the run down the hill, which is all about stringing the corners together nicely, as Shelton's a bit out of shape coming out of that hairpin, and it allows McMullen through. McMullen up to 4th place, but Shelton is going to try and come back at him, is he? He's very close, coming down the back straight as they head towards the bottom end of the circuit. But for now, at least, Fred McMullen with the job done. Nice move for McMullen. And that's not only been a battle for the duration of this race so far, but it's been a battle pretty much all day. Meanwhile, here is Rossi Brown and Jack Worth. They've just put a lap on Charlotte Makuto.
Brown still holding off Jack Worth, having taken that place a couple of laps ago. And Shelton got a problem. He's not pulled into the pits, but McMullen has him significantly.
Yeah, he has dropped back quite a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah,
good
he's slowing
spot.
down
Yeah,
now.
he's got an issue. Oh no! So the balance goes the other way. In race number 1, it was McMullen who had dramas. Now it's Zach Shelton who is all out of luck.
And his bike doesn't look like he's going to make it back round to the pits, Howard. He's pulled up just after McRae's. And yeah, the bike has come to a stop. He's going to have to wheel that off to the side.
That's gutting stuff for Zach Shelton. And also, let's not forget, that is critical from the perspective of the championship, because Zach Shelton is your championship leader there, ahead of Rossi Brown and Jack Worth, who, of course, in terms of the championship points to be awarded, are in the pound seats. So Rossi Brown here, championship, and you can see him passing the championship leader on the road.
It's not getting going again, that bike.
So Rossi Brown is going to take maximum, well, as it stands at the moment, Rossi Brown is going to take maximum championship points. Granted, he doesn't lead, but Ash Barnes running in an open class. There's Zach Shelton getting underway again, but he's now a lap down. So this is an opportunity for Rossi Brown to close up on Zach Shelton as the championship comes to a close. But he's got Jack Worth as well, third in the championship, right on his tail here. This battle is not over yet, and there's still 3 laps to go. Ash Barnes still setting fantastic pace. Fastest lap of the race of 54.752. And Jack Worth in third has the fastest lap of the non-open runners. Zach Shelton still having issues as he comes down the hill. Jacob, he's going very slowly. Here is Ash Barnes, your race leader, and he's going to pass Zach Shelton as Shelton heads to the pits, I reckon.
I hope Shelton can get up that hill.
Looks like he can.
Yeah. Oh, he seems to have got a lot more power going up the hill.
Get back out there. No,
how gravity works.
Issues for our championship leader then. Drama here at Rowrah in the championship for the Metrokit Mini GPs. Ash Barnes, however, I don't think he's had any dramas all day, has he? Just cool as you like, cool and calm. Meanwhile, the battle, and here is the action in the pit lane. Good pickup on the cameras. Looking over Zach Shelton's bike. Meanwhile, the battle for second rages on track. Jack Worth still pursuing Rossi Brown, second and third in the championship, battling it out for the points lead. And the points leader in the championship sat in the pit lane.
2 laps remaining on this one, Howard, or a lap and a half for these guys now. If Jack Worth's going to do anything, it's going to have to be soon.
Absolutely. Now's the time you want to start thinking about reeling in Rossi Brown. That's easier said than done. Both of these riders have ridden brilliantly throughout the season. Been an absolute pleasure to watch. So it's not going to be an easy thing. But Jack Worth does... actually, no, he doesn't now have the fastest lap out of these two. Rossi Brown, they both improved to personal bests on the last time through, though. As we're on the last lap, Ash Barnes is, well, already a good way around the lap, actually. He's going into Iredale's hairpin, the second hairpin now. But we've got to keep our eyes peeled for the battle on second place. Rossi Brown and Jack Worth. Jack Worth as close as he's ever been, I have to say.
I just don't think he's got such a surplus of pace to pass him, Howard.
I'm inclined to agree with you. Never say never, but these two have been matching each other on pace really well here. We've got to look to Paddock Bend, though, because Ash Barnes is coming around to win what will be his third win of the day.
Shelton back out on track in front of him, just to mention.
Good point, good point. Ash Barnes wins then again at Rowrah in the Mini GPs. And here is the battle for second. Can Jack Worth do anything in the last corner? He's thinking about it. He's taking a different line, but it's not going to give him the best line off of the corner. And it's going to be Rossi Brown who takes an important second place and first place in the point standings ahead of Jack Worth. Fred McMullen will come round to finish a somewhat lonely, it has to be said, fourth place, but he'll be happy with that. Third place in terms of the points to be awarded. There's Fred McMullen. That's something decent salvaged from what was a disappointing race one. And as I say, the tables have turned. Zach Shelton, he will be circulating and he will take the flag, as will Charlotte Makutso, who will finish 5th and 4th overall in the points for this race. But the big story of that race is that championship there is Charlotte Makutso, and then there is Zach Shelton. And the big story is that Shelton, your championship leader, has not had a race to be remembered there. Technical gremlins coming in.